It was common in Donbas to have an unusual family. What I mean by unusual is this. In many post-Soviet cities, it was normal to grow up in a one-gender household. Not because we were progressive or had queer families. No. It was because men didn't stay. The culture quietly accepted that a man could live with a woman for years, have kids, build a life, and then just live. Disappear with nothing. Not a word, not a penny. And still, everyone blamed the woman. It's your fault. You couldn't keep him. You were a bad wife. I grew up in one of those usual families, a home without a father, but with a mother, a grandmother, and a grandfather. And it's my grandfather I try hardest to forget. He was just like most of the older men around him. He spent most of his time outside with his drinking buddies, doing nothing. He had a pension, and he didn't care about work, money, or what was happening inside the house. His own life was hard, I won't lie about that. He worked in the mines all his life and was terrified every time he had to go underground. But that fear turned into bitterness. And that bitterness poisoned the rest of us. When he drank, which was often, our nights turned into horror movies. We, the three women in the house, ran. Every time. My mother, my grandmother, and me. Hiding, locking doors, blocking hallways, waiting for him to fall asleep or pass out. He chased us with a knife more than once. I remember his eyes more than I remember his words. He made that house feel like a trap, a place you had to survive until morning. It damaged something in me. Not just fear, but deeper than that. A constant tension in my body. A waiting. A belief that love always comes with danger. This is the thing I try to forget the most, and the thing I never can. The mornings after were always quiet. Too quiet. Not peaceful, just muted. Like the house was holding its breath, waiting to see who would speak first, who would pretend nothing happened. The knife was usually gone by then, tucked away like it hadn't been in his hand a few hours earlier. My grandmother would be making tea in the kitchen, her hands shaking just a little. My mother would go silent, moving through the house like a ghost, trying to clean something that couldn't be cleaned. And I sit in my room, pretending to read, pretending to be okay. But I wasn't. I never was. Those mornings were hardest for me, not because I was the youngest, but because I remembered everything. Because I watched everything. Because I was the one who kept replaying the fear after everyone else went quiet. Sometimes I ended up alone with him, just me and my grandfather in the flat. My mother and grandmother would go out, and I would sit in my room, terrified. Quietly, without making a sound, I tried to block the door. We didn't have real locks, so I used whatever I could. A chair, the vacuum cleaner, a sack of flour. That was my defense. That was my childhood, barricading myself in with furniture. And then he come. knocking softly, speaking through the door like nothing had ever happened, like we were just a normal family, like he hadn't tried to kill us the night before. But I didn't answer. I didn't move. I pushed harder against the door. I was just a kid, but I wanted to know him. I remembered. I didn't believe he's pretending. I stayed silent, crying without sound, staring out the window and waiting for someone, anyone, to come home. He never broke in, but he tried. And I tried harder to keep him out. We all knew what had happened, but in Donbas, you didn't talk about things like that. You survived them. Then you acted like you were fine. Like survival was the only story worth telling. But I remember every detail. And I still lock doors that don't exist.